it's your girl Nishay, and welcome back to another vlog. So on this vlog, I am going to give y'all a story time about when I found out I was pregnant with twins, and I didn't know who was my baby daddy. I didn't know if baby daddy one was my baby daddy or if baby daddy two was my baby daddy. But before we get into the story time, I haven't ate today, so I'm going to make me a smoothie, and I am using my Ninja. And yeah, so I'm gonna make the smoothie here. And I don't know if I want to get started with it yet because this blender is loud. But today I'm gonna have a mixed berry smoothie, the Dole mixed berry mix. And then I always put a yogurt in my smoothie, some spinach, some protein powder. Now I usually do whey protein, and I accidentally got this isolate protein, so it's really like proteinish, but I usually don't use that. And then I'm using milk also. I usually use almond milk, but I don't have no more because we be smoothieing it out here. And so yeah, so anyhow, I guess I can get started with the story time. So I have 4 kids all together. I got my son, he's my oldest. Then I got my daughter, and then I got my twin girls after her. Okay, so back in, they was born in 2008, and I think I was pregnant. I got pregnant in 2008, early in 2008, and I had them at the end of 2008. But anyhow, um, so, early 2008, I was with my daughter's father. We were in a relationship or whatever, and we had ended up breaking up. So we had ended up breaking up, and when we broke up, I started messing around with my son's father. Now, at first, we were just kicking it, hanging out, stuff like that. Then we ended up messing around, sleeping together, or whatever. So, me messing around with my son's father, it was for like a good 3 weeks or whatever. And at this time, like I said, me and my daughter's father had broke up. He had moved back to Chicago, where he's from. So he had moved back there. So it was just like, whatever. I was single. I could do what I want to do. So, anyhow, let me tell you, I was dealing with my son's father, and it wasn't like, oh, I wanted to be with him. It was just something that I was just chilling, kicking it, whatever. So, after that, I had ended up coming on my cycle. And so, y'all know how that is, ladies, when you come on your cycle, mine usually lasts like 3 to 4 days. So, it was like 3 to 4 days. And then at that time, it wasn't like I was like dealing with him on my son's father. It wasn't like I was dealing with him on a daily basis. We were just kicking it whenever we wanted to or whatever. So, I had came on my cycle, and then my daughter's father had to come back down to Indiana the next week because he had to go to court, traffic court, and so he had to come back down here. So he ended up coming back down here, and he ended up staying with me, and he was sleeping on my couch. And I don't really know how the situation was, but you know how when you break up with somebody and y'all about to do the do, but you really not feeling them like that. It was like that kind of situation. And I don't think he was really feeling me like that either. So, like, we had started, but doing the do, but I say like 3 or 4 minutes within it, it was like, nah, I'm cool, get off me. So, boom, that was it. Um, I say about 3 weeks later, I was waiting for my cycle to come on. I didn't come on. So I waited like another week and I still didn't come on. So I took a pregnancy test and boom, I was pregnant. Now, at this time, I'm not thinking it's my daughter's father really at all because we barely did anything. It was literally like 3 to 4 minutes and we was like, we cool. So boom. But I was like, still, I'm not for sure who it could be because it was literally like 2 weeks apart. So, so in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm not with either one of them. They both my baby daddies. I got one baby by him and I got one baby by him. So I'm just gonna tell both of them. So I called my son's father first. And I tell him I'm pregnant. He like, well, what you want to do? I'm like, I don't know. Mind you, at this time, me and my girl's dad, which was he was my ex, we had broke up. So the apartment that we lived in, I was moving out of anyway, and I was about to go stay with my mom. And plus, we had ended up having a tornado, and it ended up impacting over where I lived at in those apartments. So I was gonna have to move anyway. So boom, I'm like, damn. No, I'm thinking in my head, do I want to have another baby right now? I'm about to start staying with my mama. I really don't have nowhere to live. I already got 2 kids that are 2 and under. Like, do I think my son was like 3. Yeah. But anyway, and my daughter was like 1. So I was like, do I really want to go through that right now? So my son's father, he was like, well, you let me know if you want to keep it. If you want to get an abortion, let me know. I'll give you the money. So I was really thinking about like getting an abortion, but I had one the year before, and I told myself like I will never do that again. I just didn't like how it felt. Um, I didn't like the process of it. The whole thing for me wasn't like natural. And then it was like they like when they give you an abortion, they literally like take you into this room, lay you on this cold ass bed, take like a vacuum thing and stick it up in you, and you could feel them sucking your baby out. So I was like, I don't know if I want to do that or whatever. So boom, I was like, I don't know. So anyhow, um, I waited like a few weeks. I was still going back and forth or whatever. I ended up moving with my mom. At this time, I was sleeping on the floor. My kids were sleeping. One was sleeping with my sister. One was sleeping with my mother because her house wasn't that big. So I'm like, damn, I got to get my shit together. Do I really want to try to bring another baby in the situation? But do I want to go through an abortion? And I really didn't want to. So I start conjuring up in my head, okay, what do I gotta do to get ready for 3 kids, right? So, I'm gonna mix this up real quick and then I'll be back. Okay, yeah, so I'm back. So, as I was saying before, I was just conjuring up with the idea of me having 3 kids. I was sitting up there thinking about, like, what am I gonna do? I need to have my own place because yeah, this not gonna be cool. So in the meantime, in between time, I was talking with my kid's father, my son's father, and he wanted me to have an abortion because he was in a relationship with his other baby mama. So I guess he wanted to come out or whatever. It was a whole bunch of messiness or whatever. So he had gave me the money to go to the first appointment. So when you have an abortion, um, you have a first appointment to see how far along you are, and then the second appointment is you going through the process of getting an abortion if you decide to. So, honestly, it was like a few weeks later. So I feel like I was still within like the first 4 weeks. Um, and you know, after 12 weeks, you can't get an abortion. So I think it was like, I ended up being 8 weeks when he gave me the money. Um, but I thought I was further along than that because I was showing already. So I was like, damn, maybe I'm further along than what I think I am. And then that definitely really made me believe that my son daddy was their daddy because I was already showing at like 8 or 9 weeks. So he ended up giving me the $100 to go to the first appointment. I scheduled the appointment um like a week later. So I will schedule it at 9 weeks. I don't know if I was 9 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever. For the next week. And so at this time, like, I got a whole little bump, and I'm like, damn, I ain't never had a bump at 12 weeks. So I was like, I got to be further along than what I am. So anyhow, I had ended up, telling both of them or whatever, like, I'm pregnant. I don't know who the daddy is. It's either baby daddy 1, it's either baby daddy 2, or whatever. Baby daddy 2, who I just broke up with, he was all excited at first until I told him it's a possibility it might not be his. I'm not the one to sit up there and be like, keeping secrets and shit. Hold on. Keeping secrets and stuff. Until the end, I ain't got time. I'm just gonna tell you straight up, this is what it is, this is the situation. Boom. That's what it is. Anyhow. So, I scheduled the first appointment to Planned Parenthood. I really just wanted to know how far along I was. I don't think in my head I was really going to get an abortion because I didn't want to. But I just wanted to know how far along I was because I was really trying to figure out, like, am I able to figure out who the baby daddy is? Is the baby daddy 1 or baby daddy 2? So, I go to the first appointment and they give me an ultrasound. So, mind you, so I'm in the room, I'm laying on the little table thing. She's looking around or whatever, and she was like, taking a long time. And I was like, why is she taking so long? She was just taking a long time. And so she was like, okay, give me a moment, I'll be right back. So she leaves out the room after, like, because usually, like, when I went and got an abortion the year before, they put the thing on my stomach, they see how many weeks I was, they was like, boom, that's it. So I'm laying there on the table because she's like, I'll be right back. And I'm like, what's going on? So she come back with a whole nother person. And now I'm like, I asked her, I was like, okay, well, what's going on? Is something wrong? She was like, well, I was checking and it looks like there is more than one baby. Excuse me? Like, what? She was like, yeah. She said, I actually think it may be 3 babies. Bitch, who is having 3 babies? Who? I done made a plan in my head to get used to the idea of having 1. Bitch, you went from 1 to 3. Okay? 1 to 3. I'm like, 3? She was like, yeah. She was like, well, we're going to do a more accurate ultrasound. We're going to do the vaginal ultrasound. The vaginal ultrasound is when they got this long stick thing that they stick up in you, which I didn't even know existed or what the fuck it was. Okay? And she was like, we're going to do a vaginal ultrasound. So I want you to go to the bathroom because your bladder is full and then come back and so we can get a more accurate reading on how many babies it is. So I'm just looking at the white ceiling, looking up, and I'm like, my mind is just blank. So I'm like, all right, whatever, she tripping. So when they step out the room, I get dressed because mind you, I ain't got no top on, and the bathroom is outside of the room. So I put my top on or whatever, and I'll look at the screen. This is how petty the lady was. She froze my babies on the screen. You can clearly see I had two sacks. There was a sack here and there was a sack here. And there was a baby in that one. Like, you could see the head, the little nubbin arms, the little nubbin legs. And there was a baby in that other one. I seen two babies clear as day. I don't know what the fuck she was looking at. But I seen two babies. But in my mind, when I looked at it, I was like, well, maybe that little motherfucker, that's something over there or something else. Maybe she tripping, it's just one. Go to the bathroom, empty my bladder, come back. She do the vaginal ultrasound. She was like, well, there's definitely two. There's not three. There's definitely two babies. So at this point, I'm thinking like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. I gotta think about one baby. I gotta think about two babies. I'm going from 2 kids to 4 kids. Like, what? And the crazy thing was, before I left, my mama gonna tell me, because I was like, Mom, what if I'm too far along or whatever? And she was like, well, God ain't gonna put no more on you than you can bear. She lied to me. Okay. So the lady printed out the picture. She got good ultrasound pictures too. She was like, oh, it's 2 babies. No. Oh, before I get to that. So she said, definitely 2 babies. She told me I was 12 weeks. And then she was like, well, we don't do abortions at 12 weeks. I was already 12 weeks, which I was too far along anyway. I was like 12 weeks in a day. And I was already showing. She was like, yeah, we don't do that. Which, in my mind, I was thinking like, well, I was going to get one anyway. But now I definitely, if I wanted to, I can't get one anyway because it's 2 of them. So she printed out the pictures of the ultrasound, had baby A, baby B. I'm like, oh, hell. All right. Now I got to tell these niggas that it's not only 1 baby, it's 2 babies, and one of y'all the daddy. So, I got back to my mama's house. I called her. She at work. And I started boo-hooing. Like, it didn't really hit me, so I called my mama and said, like, Ma, they said it was 2 babies. I'm boo-hooing, crying on the phone. You lied to me. You said God ain't gonna put no more on me than I could bear. Boo-hooing, crying, whatever, whatever. Girl. Called my cousin. Nobody believed me. Everybody came over to the house. They looking like, girl, it's definitely 2 babies. Mind you, both of my baby daddies, twins don't run on their side. It don't run on my son daddy's side. Twins don't run on my daughter daddy's side. And they don't run on my side. So these twins, I just made them the fuck up. Okay? Baby A and baby B was made up by me. Like, fertile myrtle. What's also crazy is, like I told you, I had an abortion the year before. The abortion I had the year before was because I was in the same exact situation with both of my baby daddies. Yeah. And I had an abortion the year before, the same exact time frame, the same exact month. So I'm thinking now, I start thinking in my head, like, God just punishing me from having an abortion the year before. And he was like, now, bitch, you're going to have 2 babies. That's how I really feel. I feel like, because it was the same exact situation. Anyway, I didn't think it was my daughter's daddy because we barely did nothing. Like, it was 4 minutes. And my son daddy, I was messing around with him heavy, but it was still 2 weeks apart. So for me, like, it's always a possibility. You never know. I'm not going to put nothing on one person if it's a possibility. It could be somebody else. So I told both of them. Excuse me. Anyhow, I called both of them, let them know the situation. That's what it was. Now at this time, I didn't have plans to be with either one of them. So we not together. It's me figuring this shit out. Um, I worked in the Lowe's store, and I had told my manager the situation and my coworkers, because I was not happy being pregnant with two babies. I was a bitch, okay? Like, it was a lot. People used to ask me questions, and I used to give them, like, people used to be like, just don't ask her nothing. Please don't ask her. Don't ask her no questions, because you're not going to hear a positive response. Please don't ask her nothing, because I was not a happy motherfucker being pregnant with two babies. I just wasn't. Wasn't there for the shit. Worst pregnancy of my life. I was big as hell. Okay. So anyhow, how 9 months go by. So when I was 5 months, I got an ultrasound. I was getting ultrasounds every week because I was pregnant with two babies from my doctor. So my doctor recommended every time I come in, I get an ultrasound. So I was getting an ultrasound every week, all the way to the end of my pregnancy, because I was having two babies. So I actually found out earlier than what I was supposed to, that I was having two girls or whatever. But the accuracy of how far along I was, came from the ultrasound. So when I started calculating back, it was going back to the day that I messed around with my girl's dad and not my son's dad. And the thing about when I messed around with my son's dad, the last time I messed around with him was before I came on my menstrual. And then I came on my menstrual like a week later. And then the next week after that, when I came off, I messed with the girl's daddy. But baby, who could imagine that you could have two babies, not one, but two, off of 3 minutes? And he didn't even, it wasn't like 3 minutes and he came. It was like 3 minutes and, oh, I'm not feeling you, get off of me. 3 minutes, literally. But the whole time, I ain't beefing with my son daddy the whole time I'm pregnant. I'm beefing with my daughter daddy the whole time I'm pregnant. I'm talking about we was beefing, honey. Didn't like each other, period, okay? Then, when I got 5 months, they told me my due date was on December 1st, which is his birthday, my daughter's daddy's birthday. So I'm like, God, so you telling me that these babies is due on his birthday. The calculations go back to the day that we did the do. So you telling me he the daddy. So me still not being 100%, waiting till I have my babies. My babies came out looking just like that man and my daughter. Period. They look like him. They look like my daughter and her daddy. They look like them other people. They look like them. So I called them. My sister looked at my baby. She said, girl, these are some, my baby daddy too, some baby daddy two babies. And I was like, yeah, I'm talking about. And then his whole side of his family, including him, including my daughter, got these big ass foreheads, got this fucked up ass hairline, and my twins had the same thing. They had the same fucked up ass hairline, everything. So I was like, yeah, they his babies, but we gonna do whatever we gotta do. So at this time, he was dating somebody else. He was dating an ignorant bitch. She wanted to be like, them ain't his babies or whatever. Girl, I don't even argue with people. I'm not about to argue with you about it. Tell him come get the DNA test so he can know. Then guess what? He had the nerve to say one of my twins was his, but the other wasn't because she was too light skinned. And he dark skinned and I'm dark skinned. But his daddy light skinned. His brother, they got the same daddy as him as light skinned. And his sister, they got the same daddy as him as light skinned. And he the only dark skinned one. I'm like, nigga, in order for that to happen, first of all, I have to be sleeping with two people in the same day because you only ovulate for 24 hours. And that was definitely not the case. It was 2 weeks, not 24 hours. So, no, boo. These is both your babies. Anyhow, like I said, we ended up doing a DNA test, ended up being his babies, and boom, that's how I got pregnant with twins and didn't know who the baby daddy was, and it ended up being baby daddy too, like I thought it was. And yeah, but anyway, if y'all want to hear more story times from me, drop it down in the comments below. Let me know what y'all think about this video. Please make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see y'all on the next vlog. Peace.